All right, we're back. So we're just saying. I think that what we're doing for this last little section as a So Apocalypse World does a thing where it's like in the first session, establish characters, all that sort of stuff, and then do a little like not
a day in the life.
Yeah, a day in the life, not objective based play. Just like seeing what's going on, establishing like small goals for the play for the characters, and seeing how they do with them. Which I really like for actually like bookending the start of like putting the bookend on the start of our campaign with a void session, right? We are observing the characters because to me, like void, like my interpretation of void is that is still unchanging, unknown, but also observing. So, and that's my interpretation. But like the idea being that like we are the heavens looking down on the characters for an episode, rather than being in their lives and caring about their goals. So I think that's what I want to do with this last little section for today. Just because I mean, like it's the Adelaide style, right? Like Adelaide Canberra style requires excessive world building. We play too slow. So I think that's a nice way to do that.
I mean, or I'm just gonna like posit another like an idea that we could also do, which is, or do we want to do like a cold open for the fire, like jump into something really dangerous and impetuous, and then cliffhanger it, and then do the fire session?
What I want to do is I want to like take what we see in this void section,
and then yeah.
And basically,
yeah.
As role players, I'd like it if we can set up like the clues and like be like plant ourselves some seeds for what might be the adventure next time. So yeah, where the fuck is Raindrop going?
Raindrop is going in order to 3 places. Let me describe them to you as a series of vignettes. Vignette number 1 is Raindrop. Well, no, so vignette number 1, we see a pile of 20 robes untidily strewn on the beach. And we see Raindrop bathing in the ocean like a bird does. It's like flicking up water with their feathers and doing all the weird, like,
keep your head down.
Yeah, bathing bird behaviors. Yeah. And then we, like, you know, we see, like, the sunset, I think we said, like, you know, the like, that, like, dazzles the camera and we clear and we see, like, a last shot of them on the beach, and it's just them starting to put on the second of their, like, many layers of robes. And then we wipe, and that's vignette number 1. And then, actually, no, they're not putting them on. They've just piled them up, so they're carrying them, like, over their shoulder. And then we wipe, and we see them in the last process of climbing a rooftop. And we see them laying the robes down in the sun very carefully, and then, like, lying out on the rooftop and just, like, watching the sunset. And then
while you're
starting
doing that, while you're doing that, a cat, like, wanders up and, like, starts sniffing at you, like, trying to work out what you are.
And I open my mouth, and a dog barking noise comes out.
And it runs. Yeah.
And then I start cawing up at the gulls and having a conversation with them. Because I'm a Garuda, and I feel like talking to birds is a thing that I can do.
Yeah,
like non-magic birds.
Yeah.
And I am asking them if there are any people in town who, like, smell like books and incense. Like, I'm describing the, like, bird's eye view sensory impression portrait of, like, a wizard. And asking them, like, where can I find this?
Yeah.
Where is this person?
Yeah, and they start talking about this horrible boat that has like it's on fire, and it's got squids all over it, and it's full of trees, and they're very confused by it.
Sorry, a horrible. I missed the word after horrible.
A boat?
A horrible boat.
Yes,
is
awesome.
on fire, full of squids, and also Reeds.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then we wipe. And the next scene we see is a Defiant Lone Raindrop, like crouched on the roof of this boat.
Yeah. So
hanging like from the top of the like cabin by their like bird feet, trying to open the window and reach inside and take things.
Cool. Do you have a skill for that?
You know, I feel like this is a thing that my craft lets me do.
What is your craft?
Squatter/eavesdropper. Like, I reckon this is a skill I acquired in my previous life.
I'm gonna make you roll for it. I don't think you of course it, but I think.
Yep. No, I think that's fair.
Yep. Body.
Not my best stat. What do I get? I can't see.
You got a 3. You got a 4 of coins.
Yay! Mark XP.
Yeah. Yeah. You got the horrible grey ground clouds. So yeah. As you're like leaning. So this is like a. I think that this one has actually like paper windows. And
totally.
And as you're trying to like open it up, I think in my head it's kind of like a junk, but not quite. There's like it's the kind of ships that used to run between like the Suez and China, like that whole Indian route. And so it's it's got like a paper window that you're like trying to like open carefully and you're trying to like undo the latch with your hooky claw, and so it means that you're only holding on with one foot, and then you accidentally like tear the paper, and someone on deck goes, "What was that?" and then like looks over and is like, "You there! Out, away with you! Shoo!" and like and then and like you like get startled and fall into the sea.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, can we flash back to earlier in the morning when I prepared my spells?
Yeah.
Cool. So I gotta move, I gotta do. I gotta roll plus my mind and see how good I do. I got a 7.
7 to 9.
What does that mean? I think I hold 2. No, I always hold 3. Yep. You hold 1 that you can spend to make one of my spells fuck up or something. Yep.
That's what it is.
Something like that? Alright. There we go. I know how magic works.
I'll find it. You are which kind of spelling do you do?
I cast spells.
Casting spells.
I am a wizard.
Yep. With 7 to 9, the GM also holds 1. On a miss, the GM holds 2.
Yep.
Name your spell and describe it straightforward. Describe a straightforward magical effect and spend hold to make it occur. When you
so this spell is called okay, so like I travel to the shore. I travel back. I swim back. I lay my robe out to dry in the very last rays of the sun, and like it's not gonna happen, but I do it anyway. And then still in this like huffy and all my feathers are ruffled and I'm like real head up about it. I begin to cast it's called like Gu Kungsin's summoning of 10,000 household things.
Okay.
And the spell.
How do you spell that?
Which part of it?
The first bit.
Gu, like Gu, and then Kungsin, like Cunxin.
Okay, I was wondering if it was with a C or a Q. Okay, cool. Yep.
Yeah, Gu Kungsin's. What did I say? I'm trying to remember.
Summoning of 10,000 household things.
Yeah, summoning. Thank you. Summoning of 10. I should write these down because I want to reincorporate 10,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna require you to remember the name if you want to.
Household things. And what this spell does, Ash, is as long as the caster has seen even a tiny part of a room, the caster can summon every object, and not like desks, right? Like object, not like furniture, every object in that room to their person, like teleport it to them.
That doesn't sound straightforward enough to me.
It teleports objects.
If you've seen that object, not everything in the room, I feel. Like
So here I'm going to quibble with you. I feel like a spell that is like transport every object in a room to me. I feel like that is perfectly straightforward.
For me, it feels like there's 2 steps to it, though. Right, which is know all the objects in a room and then bring them all to you. Bring an object to me is straightforward.
But the point of the spell is that it is not about the individual objects. It is like, I have seen this room, I know the room exists. The spell is like everything within this room that I identify by a single glimpse of it, all the objects here.
Okay. I'm gonna say that if that's the case, it includes furniture.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Yeah, it's just fuck it. It's everything. It's everything in the goddamn. It's just why am I? No, it's straightforward. Everything, including people in the room, is so like I back up on the beach and like I think I like with my claw, like my foot claws, I like sketch out a like rough square in like approximately the dimensions I remember the room being to make sure I'll have enough space, because it just like transposes. It doesn't get rearranged. It's all going to be exactly as it was. And so I'm like I reckon I've got enough space, and I like leave a bit of a margin for error between it and the tide line, and then I just go back and I just like reach into one of my many sleeve pockets and I pull out like a piece of parchment. And then I reach into another one, and eventually I find like a little ink, like thing, and I like powder up some ink, and I like get some seawater, and I like make a bit of ink, and I dip my finger in it, and I draw the crude, like archaic pictograph form of the Hanzi for house or like room.
Yeah.
Which because it's the crude pictograph version, looks like a room, and then I really carefully like lean in and do the little one for like I and me.
Wait, in the room thing?
Yeah, because it's like big, like the whole paper is like this one big like room one, and then like I, and then the one for like me personally as a person, like the pronoun. So it's like the room that me has seen with eyes is like what the kanji says, and then I start incanting a very, very fast set of syllables.
Yeah.
Perfectly, because I'm a Garuda and I can do that. Like the full version, this probably takes like 10 minutes, but I'm just like, cool. And like it takes like a minute.
Yep.
And then that's it, and like that's how the spell is cast.
Yep. And then
I kind of like look expectantly at the paper and then at the square on the ground.
So I'm going to spend my hold.
Absolutely.
And it works.
Yay!
All of the things appear in the locations, but the pig that you also created, because you forgot to erase the pig from the, because I happen to know that the Hansa for house is pig under a roof.
I forgot to remove the pig. Look, it happens.
Remove the pig. So...
It happens. I'm a busy wizard. I can't be expected to think of all these small details.
Yeah, so now there's a pig, like there's a pig in your room, like a bull in a china shop, just making a mess, just like knocking things over. Something goes like crash.
And at this point, I'm gonna cast. I think I cast my another spell, which is
Make pig go away.
No, that's not a spell that I know.
Sorcerer's Fire.
No. It's called
Fried bacon.
No. It's called Kuntao's Blessed Quiescence. And it makes a single target fall into a coma-like sleep until I snap my fingers and they wake back up, or the sun like rises the next morning.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. So I just like point at the pig, and like wave my fingers around in the air, and like these little like gleams of like sparking like. It's like when you write with a sparkler. It's like that, but it's not just in like time lapse. I'm just like wah, and like write all these Hanzi in the air, and just like point at it, and I just like in the like most rude imperative form of the verb to sleep. I'm just like sleep, motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
That part's not actually part of the spell. That's just like a stylistic choice.
Yep, cool.
And it's Samuel L. Jackson's voice from Go the Fuck to Sleep.
Yeah. Cool. What do you want from the room? What are you doing with your room with the sleeping pig?
So at this point, I just start to go through the room for any like arcane goodies, right?
Okay.
Like,
yep, 100%. Yeah, you start looting. I think we can cut away.
Yeah, I loot the fucking room.
Yeah, I think we can cut away there.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm happy with that scene.
What is Iago doing? Are
Iago?
you on your own, or are you with someone else?
I think right after Raindrop stormed out, he like kind of reaches underneath his shirt to a little pouch, and just like as a personal thing that he does, he like rolls his bone dice, looks at the numbers, nods, and then just puts them back.
Mm-hmm.
Like just
I
as
like
like
it.
just a personal reading that he always does. Then he nods at the two of them that are in the room and walks out as well. And he goes to get them a place to sleep for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Because the tent isn't large enough for them all to lay down comfortably in. Like, they can sit in it, but we do have a Naga that probably doesn't want to be coiled up all night.
Yeah. Yep. So
I think
you're seeking out like a tavern or a hotel or something similar. I think that there's probably I think we see like a building with like the whitewashed walls and like a big section for like a big yard that's just full of camels and like horses and things that are clearly like for caravanners. And yeah, this and generally those sorts of places tend to be a little more accepting of people from like diverse backgrounds, and so you so like, and by that I mean like they don't hate people because they're poor. So like they have no problem. They tend to be okay with adventurers as long as you don't like mess with the merchants that are like coming through. Otherwise, that's a good way to like get yourself in trouble. But yeah, as you enter in, the woman behind the bar like smiles broadly and brushes her beard and like invites you over and is like, Mogwai, I haven't seen many of you around. Bad luck for me, I think.
Yes, I bring much coin, so favor is in your court now.
She's like, yes. Trade is good, and unfortunately, all I have to offer is room and board.
Well, I can trade coin for that room and board.
She's like, excellent. Now, I have one room that I can give you for a discount, but is a little bit, it's more your size. You might find it very comfortable.
Unfortunately, I don't represent just myself. I have companions as well.
She's like, she's like, I see. And like you see her like flash. Do you carry any weaponry?
I have a curved dagger in my belt.
Yeah. So she like her eyes like dart to the thing, and you see her be like, I see. Your friends, they are in a similar line of work to yourself.
No, they are above my station, if you are.
She's like, yes, excellent, good. And she's like, I can prepare the finest of rooms.
I would appreciate that.
And she's like, good. How many of your companions are there? And do any of them require anything special? A double bed, perhaps?
Ooh, a larger bed would be nice. One of them is a naga.
She's like, I see. And she's like, excellent, and like, yeah, you hand over some coins, and she's like, and she like talks, as you like hand over the coins, she like takes your hand and like comes out from behind, and she's like only like 4.5 feet tall, so she like takes your hand and like leads you up the stairs, and through like this. The hallway for this between the like rooms for the thing is very narrow, and there's like all of these little inlets set in with like candles and like little decorations and things, all like where there probably have been like bricks removed and it's been like turned into a little into like little alcoves. And yeah, she leads you through like a couple of like labyrinthine like hallways, and then like through like a really nice I'm wondering if it I think she leads you through like a beaded curtain, and she's like, I can get you a door if you like, but considering that you have a friend that is a naga, I thought this convenient. And she's like, and it has a convenient, it has its own entrance and exit to the outside if you didn't want to come through the main room.
That would be most convenient. We are trying to avoid too much attention. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but we represent very wealthy families back in the city of Brass. And I can put in some good word, make sure that anytime we have caravans, they'll stay here.
She's like, oh my goodness, well that is very, I am very blessed by the presence of a Mogwai. Well, I think that maybe if you need anything at all, you should be calling me. And she's like,
I will.
And she like, and then she looks down. She's like, oh, that rug will not do. I'll have it replaced in the hour.
Thank you, and some drink as well for us, please.
She's like, yes, of course. What do you prefer?
Having traveled with them, I know everyone's kind of preferences, correct?
Yeah. You just list them off, I think. And she's like,
yeah.
And she's like,
but like. Just like always, just a little bit higher quality than what us
they would
is
normally.
like.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. And she's like, so yeah. What is everyone's drink of choice?
That is a very good question. I think mine is green tea. Like again, it's just almost water, but not quite. It's the next closest thing to water.
Do you just powder in matcha? Just.
No, I think even that's too fancy. It's just like.
That's what I'm getting you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Fantastic.
I think the closest thing Defiant has to a favorite drink is like the weird magical moonshine that all of the students used to like, and it's not like one drink; it's a whole category of terrible with minor magical effects, like potion, alcohol, things that the undergrads were constantly making, and so in the absence of that, it's just whatever is cheapest and nastiest.
So, like, I think
because that's the closest.
Is that Iago tries to describe this to her, and she's like, gin. Like,
yeah.
she's like, I'll find the finest gin.
No, actually, for that one, your worst gin.
Yeah, she's not the finest.
She's like, oh, that kind. Oh, I can get you that kind.
Greatly appreciated.
Cool. Nephthys?
I think Nephthys drinks probably beer. I feel like at the monastery they brewed their own like beer. So
and a big cask of your finest beer for my Naga friend.
Yeah, she's like I think she asks. She's like, one of the merchants passing through has a very fine stout. If you're interested.
They should be passing through in the next couple months. We're expecting to send a large shipment to the court of cups.
She's like, yes, of course. For yourself?
For myself, Um, should I actually? I feel like
You've ordered drinks for everyone else and you don't know what your drink is.
Yeah.
That's great.
Surprise me.
Absinthe.
And she's like, ah, very
Oh, I know what the like in like Asian context equivalent of this is too.
which is
It's mead, but made from like the madness honey that they harvest up in Nepal.
no.
So it comes from regions where there are massive monocultures of a specific rhododendron that is like loaded with like psychoactive hallucinogens.
Oh, right.
And so
That is so
this
cool.
honey is like, if you have a little bit, you will feel very good. If you have a medium-sized bit, you will hallucinate. If you have too much, you will die. And so I can totally picture that in a fantasy, right? Like, this is a thing. It is probably like a court of coins delicacy, and it like, you turn it into a mead, and the mead is like fucking a hallucinogenic like. Stimulant, and yeah,
Yep. Cool.
absinthe,
Love
but
it.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually had absinthe. I didn't hallucinate at all.
Yeah, right. Like absinthe is just a real
If you-
letdown.
yeah, I don't know what the laws are there. You can get absinthe here but it's not allowed to contain the active
Wormwood.
component.
Wormwood.
Yeah. Cool. Did you want to do anything else, Iago, or are you just gonna go and fetch your friends and we'll cut to someone else?
I think I go fetch those two, and then I go searching to find our crazy bird friend.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool. Sounds good.
Because I know he's off somewhere doing something.
Yeah. They Defiant uses they them pronouns. Who wants Neftis or Sunan? Who wants to do a scene?
Well, I would kind of like at least the beginning of my scene to include Neftis.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I don't know whether maybe
sounds
I
great.
should
Sure.
do that. Okay. Because like the two of us are sort of left in the
Yeah,
tent.
yeah.
And I think first of all I like turn to you as I've like finished packing away like my tarot cards, and I kind of like give you like a small little kind of like thank you bow, and I say what is the name that you use for to refer to the entity that is your like ghost in a
In a hookah.
what do you call them?
I think I call them master.
Okay, so if I were to say your master, would that still
Yeah, that would be.
the same thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Because I think I don't know what their name was. I only know them as like your master. So yeah, I say like your master was very kind in doing us a reading.
You may think that, but ever since he died, he's always causing trouble.
Was he like that in life?
Less so.
Interesting. Death makes us do strange things. How are you feeling about? Now here's a question actually. Are you open about your quest? Do we know
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've probably shown you my book.
Yeah. Okay. So I think like maybe we haven't sort of like spoken about it for a little while, like leading up to this point. So I think I say like, how are you feeling about your task? Do you have any leads?
It's been a while since we last found a path. The mountain in the Court of Swords was not appropriate. Hard to climb a mountain with a tail. I heard perhaps we could sail some ways, find a whirlpool, I was told, leads down to the very depths of the sea. But again, I cannot breathe underwater.
Always there is some trouble for you. And I think, I think I say to you, and again, I think this is in reference to like a conversation that, like the two of us have, and maybe this is not something that has necessarily been shared with the others. But I say to you, as you know, I have a job here, and I'm like referring to the like part of the city or town that we're near. And I say, I'll see if I can find you some information. And like I think you know that I mean, I'm going to talk to some ghosts.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to get you a lead. Yeah, because like that's a thing that I think like has happened in the past. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so I think when we finish talking, Nephthys like throws a blanket over the hookah, and like I'm done with watching you swirl around and make funny noises now. And then she like grabs her staff and is just gonna go like outside the tent and do some like practicing and like meditation through martial arts.
Cool.
And I guess it's really weird seeing like a big old Naga doing like very like flowing and smooth sort of fighting techniques, because the tail is doing everything as well. She's like a tornado or a hurricane, just like swirling and ducking under her own body and that kind of stuff.
Naga would be so good with reach weapons, though.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Like, snakes are already, like, really good at rapidly gaining distance, and, like, staffs also have a bunch of tricks like that. Like, oh, I would not want to fight your character. That would be
and they don't
really
have the
bad.
They don't have the problematic issue of counterbalance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ashley's character is OP.
A little. Yeah. A little girl like walks up the beach. No, like hands are full of like rocks and shells, and yeah, she's got like dark skin and like sun bleached hair, and she like comes up to you and she's like holding onto her like rocks and shells, and she just kind of like stares at you as you and like watches as you like perform these maneuvers, and you can see she's like she's just kind of like entranced by the movement, and then starts to like try and like do these little copies of the things you're doing, but because she's not a Naga, she's like just doing her best and like just having a go. She's probably like 3 or 4. Yeah.
Also, Ash, as a side note, I have some thoughts about like the job that is nearby, but I don't know whether you want me to like explore those or not. But I'm happy to like come back to that because I'm curious to know about like. So I think that in this city, I don't have a firm grasp on like.
This is a port.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I think in this port. There was recently a very tragic death of 2 young twins who were part of like a prominent family, and they died like within days of each other. I don't think I, as a character, know why, like what the cause of death is yet. I just heard about it, and because they're quite important. There are going to be their bodies are going to be kept in a temple for like 100 days or something, and there are these like multiple kind of ceremonies that take place. And I think that I've tried to get here for the first of those ceremonies on like the 7th day after their death, because I have to like help their family basically spend all of their money to try and get these twins like a good place in heaven.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Can I were they together collectively the page for this town?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
how much correlation and overlap is there between her book and your map?
Oh right, like
Mm.
Nephthys' book about like the paths to heaven.
And when people
Yeah.
die.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an
wonder.
interesting thing. I wonder if we've like spotted some like weird overlaps.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, definitely.
I feel
But like
it's
maybe I don't think we've found a pattern that we can read yet. It's just like sometimes they line up in really weird ways.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you do? So like, yeah, I think parts of that are probably true. What do you do?
Me?
Yeah. So yeah, you've been brought into town to assist with like the death rituals of these.
Oh, I haven't been brought in.
Ah, okay.
I have heard about
You've
it.
heard about it. Yeah.
I always aim to be the first person to offer my services.
Yeah. Which I think you've already done. Do we think?
Sure. Yeah, we can say that.
Yep.
Maybe I've sent a letter ahead or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Being like, yes, I would love to help you with this. Kind of thing. So, yeah. So I guess like it sometime maybe today or in the next few days, I'm meant to go and meet with, like one of the kind of retainers or something from the family. Like I wouldn't meet, you know,
Yeah.
the parents or anything like that. To like discuss their plans for the ceremony.
Oh well, no, you're going to meet the parents, but not the like king and queen.
Oh, but not the king and queen. Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. So the king and queen are not blood relatives of these pages.
No, these they're and you and like upon like becoming like known as the pages, the parents effectively become like somewhere between like what's the word I'm looking for? Like what's Prince Charles?
A duke?
Oh yeah, like a royal consort.
Yeah, like like a consort, kind of like a servant, kind of like a
Yep.
It's a prized position.
Yeah, but it's like
you
an
heard
honor.
you heard it here, folks. Prince Charles is a prized servant.
But yeah, so like meeting with them would make sense.
Yep.
But yeah, what do you do now after this? Like in this,
after
like late afternoon and evening.
I think maybe there is something that I am doing in preparation for that meeting. Like maybe that's a meeting that I'm having like tomorrow or the day after or something. Like it's not a thing that's happening now, I think. But I think that there is like personal preparations that I'm doing for that, which I think can I request, because we're still in session 0, I want to retcon a thing because I went and like fully read the magic stuff, and I think the kind of thing that I want to do actually fits much better for a shaman than a sorcerer.
That's fine.
Okay, so we actually don't overlap anymore, Luke. So I think in that case I have like a sacrificial move. Let me look. What does it say?
You turn a 7 to 9 into a.
Oh, that's treat anyone missed roll as a 7 to 9 if you perform an appropriate sacrifice. That's really interesting. Well, I think actually I'm gonna try. I have a move that is you may conjure a spirit, ghost, or god and bargain with it for services. So I think like that is sort of like a method of like prayer or like good luck that I would do kind of before this sort of important meeting. So I think maybe I like go down to the like the edge of the water a little way up from where Nephthys is like doing the cool tornado, so as to give her space, but like it doesn't really matter if she's like can see me, I'm far enough off that I can like whisper into the water spookily and whatever. And yeah, I think I'm gonna scatter some ashes from like an urn that I'm carrying and burn some incense and try to get some good luck from a ghost.
Cool.
So is the ashen incense what you're offering to lure them?
Right, yes, because the remove says. Oh yeah, so I don't even roll for this. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
no, you don't.
Well, so
Yeah.
you roll to you don't roll to lure them. What I think is the implication is that then like the actual negotiation functions under the normal rules
Yeah,
of the game.
and, like the
Oh.
actual negotiation.
Oh shit!
Like
Is it a
it
hard
lets
thing?
you do. Yeah, it is.
Fuck. Oh no, I built this very badly.
It's
And also-
0, change your stats around if you need.
Yeah, and I do also want to just check because like if you want your character to be able to perform funerals that have any actual metaphysical weight behind them, you need miracles. You don't need conjuring.
No, that's fine. I don't need it to be like that.
Okay, like I'm just curious where your character concept lay because like yeah.
Yep. No, that's cool. It doesn't need to actually work.
Yep.
So, yeah,
No, totally. I just wanted to
switch up
check.
stats if you need it.
Yeah.
But because we're
Yeah,
so-
I might do that because
Yep.
I think, I think I'm gonna go with.
Because this like this like for me we're like
Yeah.
doing
Sure,
session
we're
0,
learning about
it's, like
Yep.
dispassionate observation. It doesn't care about what's true and what's false.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So so I am offering. This is like a very minor thing. This is not like I'm not trying to call anything particularly big or important or like powerful. I'm just calling like whatever. Basically, just the nearest ghost. And I think I'm offering a very like generic sacrifice or offering of like incense and these ashes, which I think are like probably like the ashes of like either someone important to me or like. Do you have a thought, Luke?
Is it fucking? It's paper money. It's like a whole bunch of like paper origami like representations of valuable shit that like in the Chinese like funerary stuff you've like burned it and the ashes now you're like yes have some money have some spirit money ghost money.
It's ghost money. It's absolutely ghost money. I love it. Yep. I offer them incense and ghost money.
You hear that sweet ching ching ching.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Yep. Yeah, so I think rising out of the water is a porcelain disc. And I don't know that I think this is the thing where I don't think anyone else would see it, but I don't think it's like invisible. They just it's like
They just don't notice it.
not even that. I think you're just in a separate reality currently where it exists and
Okay.
other people aren't, right? Like it exists.
Phased.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
So this porcelain disc rises out of the water and comes and like rests slowly, just like bobbing a little, maybe like breathing, maybe just like maybe if it were in the wind, but the wind isn't doing that. And it just rests, like an arm's reach away from you. And you think it turns a little, like maybe cocking, but it's hard to tell because it's so like perfectly circular.
Yep. Yeah, I like that.
And I think on it, the Hansa starts getting written in like watered ink, and then evaporates as it's getting written as well, and I think it asks you what. It asks you what you seek of. Let me look. I need a name real quick. Oh gosh. Now I need to try translating something. Actually, yeah.
Don't worry too much.
Yeah, all right. It asks you and it like uses its title is not in like common, but I think you understand it to mean flotsam. It asks you what you desire of flotsam.
Yeah, and I think I say to it, I have an important meeting tomorrow. It could be very fortuitous and profitable. I would like it to go well.
Yeah, and the words like come across the thing, and it's like, where is the meeting to be held?
And I tell it, I think it's at the temple.
Yeah, it's like, and it says to you that it cannot help you there. But if it is by the waterside, and you make it like, and you offer something to it at the from the meeting, then it will help. It will aid you in some way.
So like after the fact, like if I bring a thing.
You need to. So yeah, it like. Do you want to roll hard here for me so that I can know how well this negotiation goes?
Yep.
Because this is like, do I know if does it need like hard evidence? Not. Ooh.
But wait.
Mm-hmm.
I could make a sacrifice.
Yeah, you could.
What would be appropriate here? Perform an appropriate sacrifice.
So, I think the problem that the reason that you got the rain cloud there is because I think you say you'll like you go to say I'll throw something of mine into the water, right, for it, and it just like, and you can see that it says not given, lost. Like you can't give it something of yours. Someone has to lose something into the water.
Right.
If you were to give it, that would be jetsam.
Right.
If it was stolen and dropped in the water, then the person would have lost it.
Cool.
So basically,
I go back into the tent, and I think that's the end of my scene.
Yeah. So yeah.
Can I posit a thing?
You can pause it.
We have already talked about this being like a trope of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see you go into the tent, but like the shot is still on the beach, and then we just see coming up out of the water from like a little ways down this like little waterlogged like beaked white head?
Okay, yes. But if we do that, we also get a shot of my hand going into like the bags that belong to you in the tent.
I don't know that I have bags. Like, I have 3 possessions. Like, it's all on my person, is the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I think but you've left one of your coats in the tent.
yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
That's the one with my astrolabe in it.
Oh, cool.
I mean, like, Adam explicitly is like, arcane implements, cards, astrolabes, I don't know, magic shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've got an
You
astrolabe.
probably also got like, I don't know. No, I guess you don't have food because that's like one of the items you get. Anyway, it
Why
doesn't
would I
matter
have
what.
food?
Just,
It's
like,
a fucking
there is an
astrolabe.
insinuation. There is an
Yeah, it's like a big fancy astrolabe.
might be stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, yeah. The thing that I am imposing with the for the 6 is that in order to get the blessing, you're going to have to steal something from the people you're meeting and throw that into the sea.
Oh, cool. All right, that's fine then.
Yeah.
That's fine. In which case, yeah. No, I just
Yeah, I'm doing
I just
the
sort of-
stone top. Change the requirements of the deal.
Yep. Cool. No, in which case then yes, not that I don't steal anything from you, but I
I mean, you can
I'm
steal.
sort
I
of
mean, like
not-
if you steal something now, it will very much please Flotsam.
That's okay. I don't really need to please Flotsam greatly. It's probably not a worthwhile exchange. I'll just do the deal. I'm not going to give more than the deal that is like proposed.
Cool.
I'm going to give exactly
Very wise.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. A hue and cry
Hey,
is raised because a theft has happened.
Yeah, it has.
I want to know what else. I want to know what else happens with Nethys though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like Nethys, while you're doing your moves, a hue and cry is raised.
Okay, so I think we see Nefta. She's at like the end of her routine, and this is meant to be a move that is like the ultimate like pinnacle of what like a Naga monk should be able to do. So she's like embedded her staff like a foot into the sand, and she's now like coiled around it, and she's trying to like lift herself up to stand and have her tail like perfectly above her as she's like standing on the end of the staff. And so she's like coiling herself up the staff and then up around her own body, and then she hears the cry and she falls.
Yeah. What do you do when you hear that?
She like pulls the staff out of the sand and then like looks to see if she could see where it came from.
Yeah, it came from further up the beach. So I'm imagining this as being. What direction is the court of cups?
West.
West, yeah.
I want to say, and then south is the court of coins.
So
Yeah,
this
west
is
is the cups' direction is west.
Yeah, cups direction is west. Yeah. So this is a like so this so I think it comes from like further up east up the beach, and which is where like the main town itself is, and like there's a bit of beach and then it goes off into like rocks and like more rocky cliffy shoreline and like this then like yeah there's beach on either side of the
harbor.
The harbor, yeah. And so yeah, so this cry is going up, and like the people of this town are pretty used to theft, and so like and so it is not long before like they have like a system where they're like someone calls out a theft has like a theft, and then like another calls and then like just like some random person who isn't like related calls out what has been taken from you, friend? And then like the person like calls back and like lists a bunch like the contents of my cabin, the whole cabin, and then like there's a formal reply from another voice which is we will search for you and we will find it and bring justice, right? Like there's this whole like formal arrangement of how they like do a hue and cry to like look for thieves. And yeah, you start
And the one who is like, we will bring you justice is like totally like the town's priest of justice, right? Like it always has to be that person.
Yeah, it's always that person. And like the reason that it's someone else for the first call is just so that the justice priest like has time to get his shit together.
Yeah, and also so that the justice cult can't just like randomly start like false hue and cries, right?
Yep.
Like
yeah. So yeah, you start seeing people are like going through the town, but it's not like it's a full 5 minutes, and then suddenly it's like there's furniture upon the sand, and the person's like, is it of oak and elm, and like you know like describes and like the formal thing of describing what they're of like this is what it would be like if it were mine, and they call back it is as such, and like there's this whole thing, and then there's like and then yeah they're like call guards, these are the stolen goods, and so yeah a bunch of like guards are descending towards your pig room.
cool. I mean, I'm no longer there. I took my shit and I like swam away. So like I'm chill.
Yep. Cool.
And like I think the things that I took were like a handful of very small like magical goodies. I wasn't interested in like most of it.
I know. But that was just your way of stealing.
Yeah, it's easy.
Cool. Yeah.
Comparatively.
So does Nephthys know, like, when she sees a perfectly assembled room on the beach, does she know that it
Have
was
you seen me
divine?
cast Gu Kungsin's Summoning of 10,000 Household Things before?
I don't know. That's what
I think
that's what I'm asking.
I don't know that you have.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see.
But like at the same time, like I think there is something of a like 2 and 2 equals 4 about this of like there's certainly smacks of like wizard magic, and I'm probably the only wizard you know.
Mhm.
I think.
Did you leave a feather behind?
I don't think at the crime scene. No.
I think Nethys actually like just spots the little red eyes poking out of the water.
Yeah, I almost I think what it is like we get the shot of like Nethys like looking down at the thing and being like, wait, hang on a minute, and just in the background of the shot in soft focus, we just see a really super like Pink Panther like sneaking attempt out of the water by Defiant Lone Raindrop, who then like steps on like a shell or something that like shatters underfoot, and they just like freeze, looking really like chagrined.
Yeah, and so
and you just like turn around.
Yeah, so my like crest like flares out, and then I turn around and you see like my like snake tongue like flicking in your direction.
Yeah.
And I like sliver over to you. And I say, what did we say about stealing?
And I like, and they like scratch their head, and then they open their mouth, and your voice comes out, saying like, we don't steal from people whose towns we are staying in. And then they kind of like puff up their chest and are like, yeah, I got it right.
It wasn't so much a what lesson did you forget? It's do you remember what I told you?
Yeah.
And
they're like, I got it.
Yeah, she like bops you on the head with her staff.
Roll to resist.
Says, you remember the words, but not the lesson.
I think they just like cock their head because like they've never been to class before. They've just eavesdropped on the words, like they don't understand the concept of lesson. And so they're just like, I remember the words, like that's how learning works. But they're just like looking at you like kind of not even frustrated, but just like willing you to explain yourself better.
Yeah, okay.
But then they just like they sigh. And they like plop down cross-legged on the beach and like gesture to you like and then say in like 3 different people's voices, because a different voice says each word, like, please elaborate, friend.
Okay, so, yeah, sure. So she says, those things aren't yours. Take them back.
Blank, totally blank. Like, none of the concepts you're describing register. Like, what is property?
She holds the staff. Says, this is mine. And she like puts the staff in the sand. She points at your robes and says, these are yours. And she points at the room, says, that is neither of ours.
Oh God.
What did you take?
This is mine. That is yours. And then they reach into their sleeve and pull out. Ash, what the fuck did I find? What was good in that room?
Yeah, like a bunch of snails. Just like I think a jar of
Live or dead?
alive.
Yeah, okay, cool. Like a jar of cool magic snails.
Yeah, magic snails.
Yep. Is that it?
I think that's the main thing you took.
God, that was a lot of effort for just a jar of snails. Anyway,
They're
and then they pull out the jar of
they're
snails.
So colorful, right? Like
Yeah,
they're like
so,
gems.
So it's like, this is mine. That is yours. And then they reach in their sleeve and pull out the jar of snails and they're like, this is mine. And then they put it back. And then they point at the room and they're like, that is neither of ours.
So I want to interrupt you because I feel like I am superhumanly fast because I'm a monk. So I think I can just flick the jar of snails out of your hand before you get them back in your sleeve.
I feel like I feel like that sounds like a body roll, unless Luke wants to specifically allow it.
No, I don't think. I think like they're very attached to this jar. Because here is the fatal mistake that you made. That the robes were your example because they stole the robes. That's where the robes come from.
Yeah.
Like this whole conversation.
We've established that possession is 9/10 of the law.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I think you've ruined any chance you will ever have of explaining this concept by choosing a really bad example.
Like,
But
the robes represent several years worth of stealing.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
This is like every time they learned a new spell.
They had to get a new robe.
Because this as best as they could understand, that was like what, right? Like you learned, you sat in the class and the person at the front made sounds at you and you learned to do spells. You memorized the spells so you could also do them, and then they gave you a robe. And so they were like, right. And every time they memorized a new spell, they just stole a robe.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works. That's how
absolutely.
education functions.
Yep.
I really want them to like start a school after they retire from being an adventurer. I think that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Luke, are you okay with it being stolen, or do you want to like?
I think they're trying to resist. I think it's a body roll.
I think that's a
Okay.
buddy roll.
I roll my body. I got an 8.
Cool. Yeah. In which case, I think, like, both of you are holding it at once, right? Like you've got your tail wrapped around it, or your hand or whatever. But like you're both holding it.
I've got both ends, and you've got your tail wrapped around the middle, and we're like,
Yeah.
Well, I think my hands are on it.
Yeah.
And then I just start to wrap my tail around you.
Yeah.
and I just like my feathers all like ruffle up, and I start like shaking my head, and like I think you know well enough to know that like I've lost the words. You've upset me enough that I can't do the words anymore, and I just make. Oh God. Okay, here is the sequence of noises that I very rapidly make in succession. I make the sound of a firework going off, the sound of a crackling hearth fire, and the sound of a bird that has just like done a dumb thing and will not do the thing again. And I'm just like kind of shaking my hands at you with the thing in. I'm like, and getting increasingly like distraught and like upset.
Mm-hmm. But I'm a super disciplined and serene monk.
That is a very true statement.
I'm gonna retcon. I think I have a rattle on my tail.
That's cool.
So like I'm like slowly like not constricting you, but like my tail is like moving around your body, and then the rattle is just next to your head, just doing this.
Yeah.
In an attempt to just like get your attention and just make you like
hear.
stop.
And I think like there is like a moment.
Oh God, he's gonna use that sound against us now.
110%. I'm writing it down on my list of noises that I know. I'm doing a JP. I'm keeping a list.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there is like a beat where like all of their feathers suddenly go flat.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they are about to let go of the jar and like do something reckless and dumb. And then they just let out this defeated squawking noise. And just go like just slack and limp and like small and droopy and bedraggled and, you know, like woe begotten and hard done by looking. And just like exaggeratedly push the thing back to like into your chest, like towards you, and like shove it into like your body and like let go of it. And are like, this is mine. That is yours. This is neither of us. And then they just like throw up their hands and storm off in a huff again. And like I think they trip on your tail because it's still around them.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes it worse. And they like face plant in the wet sand. They like get up and there's like sand dripping off them. And like people have seen. And like and they just
I'd like to come in as he's like
absolutely
face down in the sand. I'd like to use my ingenuity talent to produce basically it's like a quartz that he's like polished, so it like reflects off with the setting sun. It's super like sparkly right now. So I help raindrop up, and then like I hold it up to the light, showing it to him, and I give it to him.
And I think like they take it, and they like like listen to it, and then like look at it, and we cut to like to Defiant, like to the Defiant cam, and there's like no like gleamy magic about it at all, and they just like pout even more and just like press it back into your chest and storm off. And once they've got like a couple of a safe distance clear, they just this like long string of annoyed words come out of their mouth and they burst into flames. They just like catch fire with just like this like fireball basically erupts from around them and then clears, and they're like completely unharmed. And the fire is, you know, like red and, you know, green and all these fucking weird colors, and it looks like phoenixes. And it just like erupts around them and it clears, and then they just like and go to bathe in the water again to like calm down.
That's amazing.
Yeah. They are not a happy bird.
I think that's probably where Emma, are you okay to leave it there? Because we finished up.
No, that's good. That I was all done with my stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think that sets us up for going on some adventures next week.
Yeah.
About ambition. In the meantime,
do I get a Dharma? Because I did what my tarot card
that's a good
told
point.
me.
We need to look at the end of session things.
Do we do that for session 0?
Oh, good question. I think today we don't do that.
All right, I'm gonna make a mark for next session because I did my tarot.
Well, the reason is that like I don't know if we're. No, it's a session. At the end of it, as each session closes, follow this protocol. When you illustrate your sign at the end of a session, mark Dharma. Did you illustrate your sign? Who illustrated their sign? You definitely did.
I think I did. If that's like because Earth is like the. Am I right in interpreting it the way I did? Let me read it.
Earth is like physical things.
Yep, money, and also like, I feel like that
stability, grounding.
Yep. I was stubborn and also wanted to get money.
Todd, did you do yours?
Yeah, disillusion. Trying to dissolve all the situations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like healing.
Yeah.
Like love.
Trying to restore.
Yeah. That sounds good. How
I
you
did
go?
teaching.
Yeah, I was about to say you totally did
Yes,
teaching.
excellent. Cool.
It did not go very well, but you did it.
Did you illustrate the desires and drives of your class?
I stole magic shit.
Fair.
I am best at magician.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing is where arcane power comes from.
Okay.
I made a deal with a ghost.
Yep.
I led my way to a better room.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Like
100%.
I had like so much planned, but she just like kept just like, oh yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
I think
I liked the fact that because I had a specific character in my head for that NPC, I was like, she's not even gonna fucking make you roll, like, as far as the
You're
like.
saying all the right things.
You're saying all the right things. Ashley.
Yeah, I think I used my like monkey reflexes to get one over on Raindrop.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's fair. Did we illustrate the patterns of our kin or culture?
I think because this was the first session with these, like, this is like the like, did we learn something new and interesting about the world? We just learned about all these characters and their kins and cultures. I think we
Yeah.
all automatically get a yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. Did you illustrate them, not learn them? Did you show them on screen?
Well, yeah, but I suppose the thing is,
Pass on that one because I think I definitely didn't, and that was kind of on purpose.
I mean, you have illustrated to us as an audience what a Tautier looks like, which is a thing that we did not know before.
That's not. I don't feel like that's patterns though. Yeah.
I'm gonna pass on it, but that's my personal feeling.
I think we like showed what it would look like in the future, what like the patterns that we would.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yeah. If you feel like you did it, take a dharma. And did you obey the precepts of your tarot bonds? Mark a dharma for each obeyed.
I did my one with Nephthys. I surrendered an argument or conflict with my companion.
Hey, well done.
You made it very difficult for me.
No, I don't think I did any of mine.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Do we have a bit to write down Dharma, Ash?
No, I need to
was
add
gonna
that.
say.
All right, cool. I'm gonna put it somewhere else for now.
Yep. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Cool. All right. Well, that was a fun first session. It was definitely like a session 0. We did a lot of finding out stuff. We got to see like who the characters are to start off with. And I really like these characters, and I'm having fun with the system already. Like,
Yeah.
And like, I feel like part of that is because y'all are good role players, and part of that is because the system is like helping us. So that's good.
Yeah, I think there's like one area where its alphaness is like very much in evidence, which is like the lack of clarity about like how to give your characters goals.
Yeah. Right.
Like, it's very difficult at this point for this to be a player-driven game because so like vast swathes of the Court of Swords settings are just like completely unformed.
Yeah.
And therefore, like, in the hands of the GM, and like the game doesn't give you any tools with which to hook onto
Yeah.
things and be able to say like,
Yeah, and I'm subbing in some tools from other things, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's easy enough. Well, let's do some shout-outs then. Emily, do you want to do some shout-outs?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Emily. I am a filmmaker and an artist. You can follow me on Twitter at BlackWolfSays. This was really, really cool. I am really interested in these characters and like their like cool spooky stuff. And their sneaky ways. It's good. I foresee many enjoyable conflicts in the future. I think that could be really fun actually. So yeah.
Awesome.
Neat.
Cool. Ashley?
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Ashley. If you want to see more of my face, you can find me at twitch.tv/AshleyNova and on Twitter at Ashley_Nova_. I play video games and RPGs and various other things.
Cool. Todd.
I'm Todd. I'm a moderator here on Ash's channel. You can find me at Hawk_Oddly on Twitter, and then Hawk Oddly here on Twitch. Probably the next week or so, I'm going to start setting up a more regular stream schedule
Cool.
to actually start playing games.
Yeah. Awesome.
Maybe
More of that.
Yeah.
Rad.
Maybe eventually DM a game on there. Maybe.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm.
The hardest part about that is finding is like getting everyone in the same time slot.
Yes.
Cool. And Luke.
Hello, I am Luke. By day, I am a professional GM for children. By night, I am not only a magical girl, but also other kinds of role-playing game characters on various streams, and also I design games. You can find me on Twitter at Wildwoods Games, and from there you can find many and sundry places other on the internet where you can purchase mine games and such forth.
Excellent. Cool. And I've been Ash, your GM for today. This is my channel. Hit the follow if you haven't. You can find me at ACEGIAK, ACEGIAK on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram, and at my blog at cgiac.net. If you want more of this, we've got more coming up next week. If you want to see me and Emily playing like space games or Minecraft or something like that, Wednesday we'll be playing something together for a co-op time. And then on Saturdays I do a PC stream. Sometimes it's a mellow with the community. Sometimes recently it's been Hand of Fate 2. Yeah, there's a couple of things that I play. I usually just find out what chat wants to play and we go with that. Other than that, thanks for hanging around, and we will see you later. Bye.